the UN flag. And I thought this was a joke on me. This is some sort of initiation to see if I'm stupid or to see if I'm going to buy this. I thought they were fucking playing with me to see if they could convince me it was flat. And what was creepy about the whole thing is that they were more laughing at me for not getting it. It never went back to it being a ball with these gentlemen that night. It might have been that at the office the next day, in front of everybody else, the underlings, but, and then for weeks, I couldn't think, everywhere I went, every time I saw a picture of the Earth, it was like just a logo, it was a painting, it was a graphic. And then I started to scrutinize the actual images of the Earth they claim are photos. And it just started looking silly, like a cartoon. Like, why is the water so blue if it's reflecting the blue atmosphere, but I could still see the brownness of Africa? Like, wouldn't I be seeing Africa through the blue atmosphere? Like, why is the green and the brown of continents so clear with the blue of the water when the water of the oceans is just reflecting the blue atmosphere? And how come the whole thing, being 3 parts water, isn't reflecting the blackness of space? Like, I started seeing all these flaws. And the more and more I tried to prove this guy wrong, or just to find out if they were joking or pulling my leg, the more I realized they weren't joking.
What do you think you were the one that they spoke about? That they told that to?
I think there was some projects coming up down the pipeline. Mars, a few things that they wanted to know. I think the whole thing was to see how I would play ball. Like, let him in on it. He'll ask more questions, and we'll study his reaction. And if he has the proper reaction to maybe be part of the deception, we'll let him in on the next project, the next contracts that we want him to falsify, the next images we need him to counterfeit.
How many people were told the same information in the
These
company?
guys were all privy to it, but these guys were all high-placed people at NASA and the U.S. Defense Department.
Any other colleagues of your level that were aware also?
No. Everybody at my level was doing graphics, doing prototypes, and they would never believe. And what am I going to do? I'm going to tell them? Well, then they're going to tell them. So I was really alone in this situation. And I did more and more research into this. Every time I came up to where to prove an equation, it was supported by an event that was created through mass media caused by NASA. Be it the moon landing, be it this, and then it was the moon rocks, and then Van Brouwer going to Antarctica to pick up rocks like 2 years before the first moon mission. Then the rocks just looked like, and then it came out a couple of years ago that John Glenn, when he went on this world tour to sort of do a PR campaign, hey, we went to the moon, and he gave rocks to the Queen of England, and she gave those rocks to the museum in Amsterdam, and up until a couple of years ago, they found out that was just petrified wood. It wasn't a rock from the moon at all. So, I mean, everything's starting to come out now, but it's said once in the newspaper, almost like it's a revelation of the method, a he on everybody.
And how did you deal with having the information in your head and continuing to work on the projects you were hired for?
Well, after a while, extensions changed, numbers were dead, and I was not acknowledged. I didn't get through. I mean, even people I worked with, the agency said that they never even worked for them. So the whole thing looks like it's just so I look crazy. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, the guys I work with, when I call back, didn't, the agency saying they never worked for them, which I pretty much imagine is what they're saying right now, or what they were going to say about me was the same thing. I mean, go ahead, call them up, ask if Matt Boylan, the comedian, ever drew paintings for NASA. I always wanted to go up in space and be an astronaut, like any kid, like any boy. And maybe I still will. Maybe, maybe planets exist the way we do, and it's flat and infinitely expanding, caused by temperatures meeting like cold and hot, or heat from underneath, and then forming this ice belt. And then there's geothermal pockets across it, with little celestial lights that roam around these magnetic north poles. But for me, to not create an exchange with another human being in my lifetime while I watch this deception continue and everybody invisibly worship a painting like some sort of religious icon. Because that's what it is. That no one's ever going to see it at that distance, and yet it's taken for granted. That's it. Yeah, that's the Earth. But they're never going to go to the North and South Pole. Well, the South Pole is really how this conspiracy works, because it's really 360 degrees around our continents, which huddle around the North Pole.
We know that you're very vocal these days about this topic.
I also became very vocal to protect myself. But the exchange of the fascination, the discovering, it was literally like discovering a whole new planet, and the romance of Columbus, and how things really work, energy, science, temperature, how much land is there. Is everybody just following GPS corridors in the oceans and in the air? Yes. Do all the commercial flights hub through the northern hemisphere? Yes. And finding out how they plug all these holes so no one will find out. I bounced it through a few people who had very high praise in my talent, and I had to explain to them very, very precariously, because I didn't want them to know I was actually doing graphics for them. I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that I was actually working for them doing freelance graphics, because it's perjury. It's basically, I'm putting my neck out, and I'm also apparently putting the national security of the country or the nation or the agency at risk by talking about, the projects I was on. I was just making paintings of outer space.
Some people tend to believe that you're talking this way, you're proposing such a thing just to attract the attention.
Big time. The more people that hear me say this, the more time I'm buying for myself.
So you don't mean it, you just want to attract the attention? Is this what you're saying?
I'm trying to live, protect myself, and also...
what do you need to protect yourself?
I think the more people know this, the better off they'll be, humanity will be. Look, it's been 500 years. People go, wow, you're telling me to go, not only go back 500 years when we used to think it was flat. Actually, it was way before that. And I mean, everybody's in a dream. Their reality is from the military. This cannot continue. The militaries of this world are what is dividing and conquering everybody in these little eugenics events they call world wars. And basically, instead of rounding up people and then firing them because they're stupid and there's too many of them and they're eating everything, why don't you just let them know there's more land?
Do you think you're reacting right now the way they planned you would react?
No.
How do you think they were
hoping I would react?
Yes.
Well, I think that they were hoping that I would laugh and be part of the group, be illuminated, and all right, so let's have a good slap on the back, and let's see how far we can take this lie and keep it from them. While we
how far do you think they would have sent you in the other direction if you would have just left?
I don't know what they were planning. They could have used me to, I don't know, maybe stage a false alien invasion, mixing fantasy visuals with android technology or nanotechnology. There's fusion going on too with smoke and mirrors. It's not just illusion with images, and there's actual technology going on here. So when you're fusing the two together, I mean holographs in the sky, hologramic events,